Welcome to the Health Revolution, the show that leads you to a life of vibrant well-being. In a world full of noisy health trends, we bring you clarity through a sea of fads. We reveal the science behind the strategies that truly work. We explore physical strength, emotional resilience, and mental mastery, the keys to an enriched life. See inspiring interviews with the champions who've conquered life's challenges. Are you ready to unlock your potential to live with vitality and purpose? Then join the Health Revolution. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, health and fitness expert, speaker, and a mom who understands. Let's embark on this transformative quest together. If you want to change the game, it all starts now. Welcome, everybody. You are watching the Health Revolution, and we're excited that you're joining us today. I'm your host, Adriana Morrison, and no matter which way you're tuning into us, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. We want to stay connected to you. Also, at the bottom of your screen, there is a tab for show episode notes. Please be mindful of that. There's some important information about today's episode. And let's dive into it. So today we are talking about Beyond Big Pharma and the healing power of plants. So just by that title alone, you could probably take a wild guess of what we're going to talk about today. We are diving into the holistic approach utilizing plant medicine and all that that implies. And this is something we can all certainly learn from. I'm excited for you and myself to get to know our next guest. He is an incredible guy who brings such knowledge to the table. First, take a look at this. Meet Trinn Hatch, a man whose journey through faith, service, and personal survival led him to redefine healing. From missionary work in Georgia to a career in personal security, Trinn always felt called to protect others, but a near-fatal assault changed everything. Determined to free himself from addictive pain medications, he turned to plant-based medicine and the power of terpenes and CBD, creating what would become Jampha, a fusion of Tibetan healing traditions and modern science. Now, Trinn is on a mission to empower the body's natural healing abilities through holistic wellness. Today, we will learn how plant medicine and ancient wisdom are transforming health and vitality. Trinn Hatch, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's wonderful to be with you.
I'm excited to talk today because of what the space that you represent. First of all, I'm curious about your journey and how you got from to here from there. What started? I know that we are learning that your journey in all that you did in terms of protection, and then you had a moment that had changed your trajectory. An assault had occurred, and the healing process that went behind that. How take us through those moments and what sat with you with what path you were going to be on that led you to plant medicine?
Yeah, my path really was one, as you mentioned, that started with personal tragedy. At the time, I was very ingrained in a security career, taking care of high end individuals and royalty and important people. And during that time, I was assaulted and broke my leg. Well, really shattered my ankle. Ended up having quite a few surgeries to be able to keep my leg. They wanted to amputate it. Went through a bunch of different really difficult times trying to keep it, and spent about 3 months in traction with my parents taking care of me in a bed, cleaning my wounds and in external fixation. And so that really led me to a path of needing to find healing for myself. I ended up on a lot of medications, in and out of different doctor's offices, told there was really no hope. At one point I was put on disability, told that I had PTSD and wouldn't be able to work again. And so, after living like that for a few years, I really just got fed up and really felt that there must be other answers out there that were waiting for me to find. And I started a prayerful journey trying to find those answers. And over the next few years, was led to cannabinoids and terpenes and started to make formulations for myself based off what I was learning, and was able to get myself off all of those medications. That led to starting a company and eventually would lead to Tibetan medicine.
So when you were going through and you you were being prescribed all the medications, what were some of the things that you noticed about how your body was responding to those medications, the fact that you had so many?
Yeah, it was like musical chairs. Something would pop up. I'd take something for the symptoms, that'd go away. And then that day or the next day, something else would pop up. And so it was a continuous revolving door of trying to mask the symptoms, but nothing seemed like it was really helping to heal the cause so that I could get out of that revolving door. And it was perplexing to me at the time. I thought, how do people get into this system and get out of it? There was no path out of it that anyone was presenting. And so that was really the catalyst for me finding a path for myself.
Was it a series of pain that you were going through, or was it just the pain that you just couldn't get past the physical pain that was part of your injury?
That was the first thing that I was able to get off was the pain medications. I have a pretty high threshold for pain. And so that was, something to conquer. But then I still had 16 other medications to get off, and those were things like blood pressure medications and PTSD medications, things that I'd been accustomed to for more than, 5 years when I started to take myself off them. So there were lots of rough periods and question marks about whether I was doing the right thing, but I started to tune into my body's own healing wisdom. And as I did that, the path became clearer. And, over the course of 2 years, I was able to get myself off of those medications. I didn't have any training other than my own experience as somebody who'd been injured and had to deal with that. And, as I got to the end of that path, that's really what lit a spark and inspired me to want to help others.
So obviously plant-based medicine is the essence behind your story and how you've evolved to that. Did you find that as you were trying to heal, that there was no other turning point, or were you just naturally curious about what else is out there?
I got to a point where I was able to manage all of my conditions with just using the CBD and terpene formulations that I created. But some of those things that I was dealing with, I needed to keep taking those medicines for, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to find a way out of that continuous revolving door. And so, really, in another prayerful moment, I went and just asked the universe. I understand cannabinoids and I understand terpenes, but there's a sea and an ocean of healing out there that I have not tapped into, and I want to tap into it. And so, I actually was signing up at the time to go and learn herbal pharmacology. And my family thought that was crazy. They're like, why are you going to go spend 6 years in school and have to learn all this stuff? Find somebody who already knows it. And I thought, I don't want to have a business partner. I don't want to deal with somebody else's ego. All of those things popped up. But, I worked through them and asked for help. And 2 weeks to the day of making that intention known, I received a LinkedIn message, of all things, from Amchi Tugtan Lekshi, who is a lineage physician in the Tibetan healing sciences, Sowa Rigpa. And he just basically said, I see what you're doing with terpenes, and shared a little experience of his learning about terpenes in the Himalayas. And that began a conversation that I think has continued almost daily until this day. That was 5 years ago now.
Talk to us a little bit about your backstory, because obviously you having the Tibetan connection, what would you like our audience to know about your backstory, and what maybe those of us who don't have that background, what are some of the essence and the words to live by, the mottos that are part of the Tibetan culture?
Yeah, my involvement with the Tibetan culture started with Jampha. I had this name that came into my awareness and a few experiences, and I didn't really understand what it meant. And so, after a trademark conflict with the first name of the CBD company that we created, I needed to find another name quickly. And I'd kind of put this name Jampha on the back shelf and hadn't really explored it very much. It actually came to me as I was in a store with my sister, and a woman that I'd never met before. She came up to me with a very perplexed look on her face and told me that I had a very wonderful soul guide named Jampha. And at the time I thought, well, that's a little out there. I smiled and graciously accepted and wrote it down on the notes on my phone and never really thought about it again. Something told me when we needed to change the name of the company that was the name to use. And so I looked it up and found a reference by a white professor at Cornell University speaking about Jampha and its meaning of loving kindness. Not a totally correct interpretation of the name, but it was a start for me. And so, I applied that to the company. We started with that as a brand, and I hadn't met any Tibetan people at that point. It was just a word that resonated with what we were trying to do, and that was spread loving kindness and healing to the world. And so when Amchi came along, he started to gently guide me into an understanding of really what Jampha is and who Jampha is. Jampha is actually the Tibetan name for a Buddha of loving kindness named Maitreya. And Maitreya is the expression that we're sharing with the world through our lineage, and through the way that we share these healing gifts with the world. And so, Jampha continues to become new in every moment. We're constantly expanding into a greater awareness of this field of loving kindness that Tibetan Buddhism teaches is Maitreya. And so in everything we do, we try to make sure that we're giving people the love and the respect and the time that they need to heal. And that's really, in a nutshell, what Jampha means. It's loving kindness for all sentient beings and providing a path for all those who are ready to heal.
Now, did your family, was there a prolific history of embracing principles from Eastern principles, obviously East from not completely aside from Western principles, but were there elements that your family embraced right from the get-go throughout your family history, or was this something that along the way that you evolved and began to embrace?
Yeah, I mean, my family was very strong Christians growing up. I spent Sundays at church and weeknights at Sunday schools, and I went through a seminary for 4 years and learned scripture and doctrinal teachings and different world religions. So I was very much on a different path, from birth. But as I walked that path, as we all do, I saw things within religions that I didn't like, and I moved more in a spiritual direction than adhering to any religion. And when Amchi came along, he started to share with me, Buddhist teachings and philosophies and understanding. And over the course of 4 years of those teachings, I was able to find a common thread between really Christianity and Buddhism and all other religions. And that's love. And so that's been our focus, to be inclusive of all paths and all people. In my experience, all spiritual paths drink from the same well. We're just experiencing it in different ways. And so, we're not a religious entity, but we're very much aligned with spiritual values. We want to be inclusive of everybody's path and not make people feel judged or like they're doing something wrong. And so, we have people from all different types of walks of life. We have Jewish people, and we have Muslim people. We have practitioners and healers and physicians from just about every culture in the world that are now adopting and using our medicines. And so it's wonderful to see people embrace that spirit of love and kind of let the dogmas and the blocks and the obstacles start to dissolve. I think that's what we need as a planet in order to heal, as well as ourselves.
I want to jump back into some of the elements that Jampha covers, and you talk about some of the healing properties, such as cannabinoids and then also terpenes. For our viewers who don't know what those two are, can you just go into a quick definition of those two?
Yeah, cannabinoids, that was the be-all and end-all for me as I started. But as I said, it's one drop in an ocean of healing. And so we're actually moving away from having cannabinoids in all of our formulas because it's not needed. The Tibetan pharmacology, it takes into account everything that cannabinoids and terpenes were doing, but with a greater resonance of mind, body, and spirit, not just the mind and the body. And the spiritual aspect of what we're creating through Tibetan pharmacy is really second to none. I've taken that around to healing modalities and lineages, including Ayurveda. And, when I took it to the head Ayurvedic doctor in America, his name's Vasant Lad, he held one of our bottles. He smiled very, very, very graciously to me, handed me the bottle back and said, "This is a quantum leap." And I said, "A quantum leap in what?" And he said, "Medicine. Don't you know what Jampha means?" And I said, "I thought it meant loving kindness." And he said, before that. And I said, "No, I'm not aware." He said, "Jampha means quantum leap in Sanskrit." And I looked it up, and he was correct. And he actually mentioned us in his keynote address. He said, he went really quiet, and he said, maybe maybe one day, I hear mind body from all my students and all my professors. And then very quietly he said, but when will we bring the spirit back into our medicine? And 3,000 doctors are looking around at each other going, what's he talking about? And then he said, maybe one day, maybe in 20 years, maybe over there. And he pointed to where our display was. He said, maybe we'll bring the spirit back into our medicine and we'll start to heal faster and more comprehensively. And what he was referring to was terpenes. Ayurveda and Tibetan medicine, terpenes are revered and considered the life force energy of plants. And so I often, describe it as, if you have a glove, it can't do very much. But once you put a hand inside that glove, you can do a lot more. And so terpenes really are the intelligent healing aspects of plants that, when reintroduced into traditional botanical formulations, bring that spiritual aspect of healing back.
Because this is not something that we normally talk about. This is brand new. So this is, in a lot of ways, more cutting edge than at first glance.
Yeah, when our Amchi was in the Himalayas doing his studies, he could actually see the terpenes leaving the dried plants. He's very gifted like that. And he asked one of the leading Lama physicians, what's going on here? And he said, this is the life force of the plant, leaving the plant. And Amchi thought, well, shouldn't we be putting the life force energy into our medicine? And it just wasn't possible at that time, but it was in his awareness at that point that was something that could really increase and advance the expression of this 2,500-year-old lineage of medicine. And so what attracted him to finding us was, one, the name of the company, Jampha, because he understood who Jampha was, but also how we were using terpenes, because nobody else, at the time that we started this, was creating synergistic profiles of terpenes to direct healing potential in different areas of the body. And so we've been able to take a healing science that's rooted in that success and that applied insight for all that time and advance it even further with the modern advances in terpene extraction and isolation, so that we can rebuild those profiles from scratch.
So then, in a nutshell, so Jampha Pharmacy is a tools, options, if you will, for plant-based approach to medicine. That these are unique. These are some unique and more cutting-edge approach to focusing on some of the ailments that we many times that we have in society that are being finally addressed in a proper way that perhaps common medicine that we're used to is not doesn't cover.
Yeah, Tibetan medicine really is addressing the root cause of the problems. And so it's not a fast fix like Western medicine is, because you feel the relief of the symptoms right away. It's very fast at abating symptoms, but the focus of every formulation is to address the cause of that problem and to give the body the support it needs to be able to heal and regenerate in that area that it needs support. The truth is, nothing that we do or give you is healing you. And that's the truth for anything you take in your body. Your body's healing itself. You're just giving your body the tools, the support, consistent support, also important, to be able to heal and regenerate itself. And so when we create a protocol or help somebody to create a protocol for themselves, that's the main focus of our attention, is to getting to the root cause and giving the body the support that it needs to even those things out.
And we're going to dive into all of that. We're going to talk about the products that are part of Jampha. But first, we're going to take a commercial break. We will be right back. Stay right there.
So in the calm bag, it has GABA, theanine, and taurine. So theanine, which is B1, which is also in our B complex, but it also helps with the stress response levels. It also helps with the neurological transmitters in our brain. Combined with the GABA, and then you add taurine to it. Taurine is a non-essential amino acid in our body. but it's found in our heart, our brain, and our eyes. So in my personal opinion, it's very essential in our lives. But taurine has a calming effect as well. When I was battling all my AFib issues, I was taking high doses of taurine because that would help with my AFib. It would help with the palpitations I was having. And it also helped with the anxiety of having the palpitations because I knew what was going on. And so taurine helps a lot with that as well. So those three together create such a wonderful concoction that just really just calms people down.
Introducing Launchpad, the perfect partner to help you launch your dream project to the world. We know that time is of the essence, and we're here to help you make the most of it. With Launchpad, you'll get access to the most advanced digital tools and strategies to take your idea from a mere concept to a fully fledged success. Whether you're an aspiring entrepreneur or a seasoned pro, we have everything you need to make your mark in the world. Launchpad, your ultimate launch partner.
Welcome back, everybody. Our guest today, Trinn Hatch, he is the co-creator of Jampha. Today, we're talking about Beyond Big Pharma and the healing power of plant medicine. And before the break, we were talking about how his company, Jampha, has been able to revolutionize some of the approaches using plant-based approach to help address some of and get to the origins of some of the ailments that we commonly fight these days. And Trinn, obviously I do have some of your products here, and I can't wait to share with our viewing audience. And I want to talk a little bit about just the mission for that, and then go straight into what all Jampha is comprised of. So the mission statement, mission goal for Jampha.
Yeah, from the beginning, it was really simple. It's to help heal the world. We all are in need of a system of healing that works for everybody, that doesn't cause interactions, that doesn't need us to be in a revolving door of expensive medicines for the rest of our life. When I told my family that, they all kind of laughed and went, "Okay, well, that's a lofty ambition, but why set your sights small when you know the answers that people are seeking? It just becomes a responsibility to share it with the world, and it's a wonderful responsibility to have."
Absolutely. Now you have 20 products, as I understand it, and we're just gonna dive in from the top. So I do want to talk in detail about each of these, and I want to show and tell as we go for the products that we have here. Talk about calming stress, anxiety, and pain relief. What does this speak a little bit about what this has to offer?
This began as one of my first formulations that I created with the terpene profile and cannabinoids. This doesn't have cannabinoids in it, but is actually more effective. I had PTSD. That's one of the things I was put on full disability for. They just thought that I was a liability to work somewhere. I could go from 0 to 60 really fast. And so I needed something to get myself off of the pharmaceuticals, and Calm is what I created. This contains 5 different extracted botanicals, as well as the original Calm terpene profile, for people that are dealing with any type of anxiety or depression, even types of stress, any types of stress that will cut it down quite dramatically. And for people that have an ongoing issue with it, it can help to resolve it over time. Usually three months is enough time using it consistently to see a big downgrade in that anxiety and stress levels.
Fantastic. And then next we have, as we're switching our screens, we have Blue Lotus Peacock. Curious about this one. Talk about this one.
Yeah, this one started because I had 2 uncles, my Uncle Craig and my Uncle Warren, and they both were diagnosed with cancer, different types, in the same month. And so when I told our Amchi about that, he's very compassionate and loving, and he went straight to the drawing board to create this formula. And within about a week, I think he'd created it. And so this is a formula that helps the body to identify and remove cancerous cells. As I said before, nothing heals cancer outside of ourselves, but this empowers the systems within the body to be able to remove those cells and to fortify the immune system to keep cancer away and to stop it from metastasizing to other organs. So we saw great benefits with this with both of my uncles. One of them was unfortunately terminal at the time that we started with him. he was told he had 2 weeks to 2 months to live. He lived for years after that and was able to go out on his own terms and went on a cruise around the world with his family and came to visit my mom from Australia. So he was able to see a huge change, but unfortunately, he still passed. He was very late stage. My other uncle, Uncle Craig, used the medicines for months, and his PSA numbers came down where he didn't need them anymore. And so we've seen this happen with dozens, if not more, of customers that come to us and are looking for natural solutions. This works with any type of conventional cancer medications, won't cause interactions or any side effects, and so it's very safe.
Fantastic. And so the next we have, just want to show Golden Eagle. All right, what can we know about this one?
This one came about because of when we first created it, because of cytokine storms. There are a lot of people that were contracting, COVID and having these cytokine storms in their lungs that were causing all kinds of damage. And so we created this really out of a necessity. It was one of the first formulas that Amchi and I worked on. And this is very extensive for any type of lung damage, people that have had chemical damage, smoked for too long, genetic lung disorders or chronic lung conditions. This gives the lungs support to be able to regenerate and heal themselves and restore respiratory response and just the ability to breathe normally.
All right. And then next we have Focus. Looks like something that I would need to get my hands on. So talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, one of the things I dealt with for pretty much my whole life and was on medications for was ADHD. And so, I created that to begin with to help myself get off those medications. I was able to within a few months. And it's something that I don't have to take. I rarely have to take it anymore, actually. I have the benefit of having the increased focus and now I can fit 60 minutes of work into 60 minutes rather than 60 minutes of work into 10 minutes, which is kind of how it was my whole life dealing with ADHD. And so it's expanded my ability to stay present and focused and get things done. For anybody that's just looking for an extra help, you got some study to do, an assignment to finish, or something to take care of for work, then this will definitely help to get it done, and it works very fast.
All right. And then next, of course, we have Ethereum. Say some things about this.
Ethereum's a very special formula. Its main ingredient is called ormus, or monoatomic gold. Monoatomic gold is something that's been created throughout history. It's talked about on the Sumerian tablets 8,000 years ago. It's talked about in different religious texts. The Egyptians are most well known for it. It's basically taking minerals out of their metallic form into a subatomic state. And that means that those minerals can be used by your energy systems in your body. And so ormus, monatomic gold, was used by pharaohs and priests for increasing consciousness, for enhancing spiritual connection. We created ourselves in our lab in a very, very unique way, using different frequencies and ways to begin a nucleation process that really makes this the highest expression available. Ormus can only be made in small batches. It's never been able to be mass produced. And so we created over really a 4-week period. But if you're looking for energy on another level, this will definitely do it for you. If you're looking for something to take in the morning and kind of get you through a really busy day, this is what I reach to Ethereum for. If you have a spiritual practice or are looking for greater connection within your own mind and heart, then this can be a way to support that happening faster.
All right. And then next we have is that Lifumo? Is that
Yeah, Lifumo.
Okay.
This is a very powerful formula for any kind of pathogens. Lifumo stands for Lyme, fungus, and mold. We went through a period where we had a lot of people coming with Lyme, and we just weren't able to address it with the formulas that we had. And part of the reason was because there was also mold and fungus, these soup of pathogens in people's bodies and not responding to any one formula. And so Amchi created this formula really to address Lyme, fungus, mold, parasites, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antiviral, and also for people that have had adverse reactions to vaccines. It helps to cleanse the cells and remove the residuals from vaccines that sometimes can be blocks to healing.
All right. And then after this, we have Healing Heart. Talk a little bit about Healing Heart. And I do have my bottle over here, Balancing Energy, Mind, and Heart.
Yeah, Healing Heart was an interesting story of why it came about. For a few different reasons, it all kind of coincided at the same time. I do a lot of consultations during the day, and I went through a period where a lot of the consultations were just very hard. People with terminal conditions and not much hope, and you want to be empathetic and listen to them and compassionate, and that's wonderful, and that's the way I am in all of those conversations. But I didn't realize it was taking a toll on my own heart, and I woke up one night in the middle of the night, and I had this crazy palpitation. And interestingly enough, Archie on the other side of town in his bed with his wife woke up at the same time and grabbed his heart and said to his wife, we need to make something for the heart, and went back to sleep. And as I went to tell him about it the next day, he told me that experience, and we kind of looked at each other like, okay, we need to make something for the heart. And as we were having this conversation, one of our customers came in, actually a PhD doctor who'd been treating her Lyme's condition that she'd had for 16 years and had just got herself back to work. She started telling us that she was kind of sliding backwards and wasn't sure what the problem was. And she looked at me and he said, Trinn, we need to support her heart. And I said, okay, well, maybe the formula that we make can do both. And he said, yes, it can. And that was why we created Healing Heart. It helped me to deal with my blood pressure once and for all. It helped me to dissolve and release, traumas and emotions that were still caught in the neural network of my heart that I hadn't dealt with even up until this point. And also to release those energies after, a hard conversation with somebody, as somebody that's helping others on the path to healing. And so it's become really one of our most powerful and sought after formulas, especially for healers. Anybody engaging in healing work with others, really helps your heart to stay open and clear and not to take on those discordant energies that can sometimes make it hard to stay resonant in that heart field. Mm-hmm. It's also helping to engage and bring coherence to the mind and the heart. And when those two are in balance, we're loving from the mind and thinking from the heart. And that's really the key to living a healthy life is live from heart's intelligence rather than trying to process through our thoughts and figure out what we should do or shouldn't do. The heart leads the way, and when we tap into that, it's really beautiful how fast the path illuminates to our own healing.
All right, and we've got a bunch more to go through, so we're going to see what the next one is, the Maithuna Prana. Talk a little bit about that, and I have my bottle here.
Maithuna Prana, for me, it can be used for a lot of things. It's increasing chi, essentially, your energy through your energy centers, and that energy can be used for sex, or it can be used for creation or for working out. It's pure energy. And so for me, when I use that formula before a workout, my workouts are a little bit longer, I have more energy. If I need to go drive 8 or 12 hours, I'll put a drop of that in my coffee and smooth sailing. So really that is an energy proliferator, and what you choose to do with that energy is completely at your discretion. For people that are creators or artistic, they love this formula. Tai Chi masters, Kung Fu masters, Qigong masters, really, even at those advanced levels, is helping to create even more energy, which can be channeled into their spiritual practices. And so this one also helps with hormones. We use it for women that are going through menopause or perimenopause. Really brings a balancing, supporting group of botanicals into your system that help your body to deal with those challenges as we're transitioning through life and through the changes that our bodies go through.
All right. And then next we have rose gold. Okay, talk a little bit about this one. Say more about this.
Yeah, rose gold diamond shilajit is energetically, as they've tested it with Ayurvedic devices, is the most powerful. It's got ormus, monatomic gold in there, as well as shilajit. Shilajit is a mineral extract that's been found in the Himalayas for thousands of years. It contains 90 minerals, as well as fulvic and humic acid. And so this really is giving your body the mineral fortitude and support that it needs to be able to heal and regenerate itself. And so whenever we're dealing with, people that have had an accident or structural damage, myself included, this is included in the formula to give that mineral support. It's also a supercharged longevity elixir. It's jam-packed with adaptogenic botanicals that help to proliferate more energy on a cellular level. We have a boxer, Keith Thurman. He's a former world champion. He hurt his wrist, and he's been using this formula along with another one I think we'll see in a minute called White Tiger. And I just heard from him this morning that he boxes now again in a month's time. He has his fight, and he was told 6 months ago that he'd be out for at least a year. And so there's amazing resilience and regenerative ability within the body when it has the right support. And this is second to none when it comes to that support.
Fantastic. And let's see if we can get a couple more in before our next break. So this one is sleep. And
Yeah, sleep.
obviously, no brainer. What can we know about this?
Real simple. It will replace melatonin. You can use it at the same time as melatonin while you slow yourself down taking the melatonin. It's got 5 different botanicals, all adaptogens that really just help the body to get back into a healthy sleep cycle in alignment with our circadian rhythms. And so when used for 30 to 90 days, most sleep cycles will restore to normal.
Fantastic. And then next we've got Relieve, anti-inflammatory pain relief. Okay. I know a bunch of our audience would love to know more about this.
Yeah, this is what we first started with for pain and inflammation relief. It's great for symptoms like reaching for a Tylenol or some kind of NSAID. It doesn't cause any interactions or problems with any other type of medications. But the Relieve, this one is really what we use for people that are going through surgeries or have had recent injuries and need some extra support for pain and inflammatory relief. It works really well with the white tiger.
Fantastic. And then next, of course, we've got Turquoise Dragon. Curious about this one. I love these names, by the way.
Yeah, this was the first infusion that Amchi and I made together. It's a Tibetan antibiotic. I only know of one Tibetan antibiotic, and this is it because it's just that powerful. It would replace a large portion of what we use in the West. It's very effective for anything viral related, bacterial related. It works on gram-positive and gram-negative bacterias. We've seen it be extremely effective for superbugs that no Western paramedics could touch. It's effective for removing parasites. It's a blood tonifier, an organ cleanser. It's really a pretty marvelous formula if you want to just have a cleanse, clear your system out, or you're battling a pathogen. This can be taken just like a regular antibiotics course 3 times a day for 10 days, or it can be taken every 2 to 4 hours, depending on how serious somebody's illness is at the time that they're dealing with. We use it in cancer protocols. We use it proactively for, when any of our team travel, we'll take it for 2 or 3 days beforehand while we're traveling, 2 or 3 days after, and nobody gets sick.
That's fantastic. We got more to cover. We're going to pick up right where we leave off. First, we're going to take a commercial break. Stay right there. We're coming back. Thank you so much for watching The Health Revolution. Our show is growing, and it's all thanks to viewers like you. No matter how you found us, please hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected and continue to deliver amazing content to you. Hi, I'm Adriana, and welcome to Fit Bites. Did you know that sitting for long periods of time can increase your risk of back pain, poor circulation, and even serious health issues like heart disease? But the good news is you can combat this by incorporating simple movements throughout your day. Start by setting a timer to remind yourself to stand up every 30 minutes. Take a quick walk, stretch, or even march in place. These small movements can improve circulation and relieve tension in your muscles. Incorporate desk-friendly stretches like neck rolls, seated twists, or leg extensions. These exercises can help keep your muscles active even while you work. If you're on a phone call, try standing or pacing instead of sitting. Using a standing desk or swapping your chair for a stability ball can also engage your core and also reduce your strain. Remember, your body is designed to move. Breaking up sitting time with regular activity can improve your energy, focus, and overall health. Get up, get moving, and stay tuned for more Fit Bites with Adriana. Welcome back, everybody. We're talking today Beyond Big Pharma, the healing power of plant medicine. Our guest today, Trinn Hatch, he is the co-creator of Jampha, a Tibetan pharmacy that really gets to the source of a lot of the ailments that we are struggling with, that tackles it in a way that is beyond Western medicine, and it really taps into the Eastern principles that have held true over the course of history. And so, Trinn, obviously before the break, we were going through all of the different products that we do have. I want to pick up right where we left off. And so we were talking about turquoise dragon. Now let's talk about white elephant. And I do have a that product here. Say more about this.
Yeah, white elephants, all the formulas are special, but this one's a little closer to my heart. My mother had a pineal gland tumor just near her pineal gland about 10 years ago, and she had it removed through surgery. During, I think, the second surgery, she died on the table, had a clot form in her visual cortex, and it destroyed all of her neurons, so she lost her vision, and about a baseball size of the back of her brain is just gray matter. And so she, came back from that and was very much an invalid and had to learn how to walk and eat and do all those things again. And over the course of, 5 or 6 years, my dad and myself, we tried everything we could, got in front of the best neural ophthalmologists in the world. And everyone would tell her the same thing. You just get comfortable without your vision, because there's nothing modern science has to offer to get your vision back. And so, fast forward a few years, and she did all kinds of things in between this time, hyperbaric chambers and different types of plant medicines and different types of modalities of healing, but wasn't able to really get her master functions within her brain back. And so, shortly after I met Amchi, I told him about Mom's condition. And I simply said to him, can we regenerate neurons of the visual cortex? Is that possible? He kind of looked at me with an interesting look, as he does. And he said, why do we need to do that? And I said, well, so she can see again. And he said, she doesn't need vision. She doesn't need those to see. And I thought, man, you're crazy. How does she not need those to see? So he created this formula for her, and she started to use it. And in conjunction with other things that she was doing at the time, she started to have amazing increases in her ability to see. She actually got into 2 different studies, one in Australia and one in Rochester, trying to map her neurons in her visual cortex, because it was beyond their understanding of how she was able to now see, and it's continued to get better. And so, while white elephant isn't the magic pill that helped her get her sight back, it was a catalyst that gave her brain the support that it needed to rewire. Now she's gone from being completely disabled and unable to travel without assistance in a wheelchair to traveling around the world by herself. And she's now back working with our company and doing a lot more than anybody ever thought was possible. So white elephant is for the brain. It's neurocognitive enhancer. It's really effective for people dealing with any type of neurodegenerative disorders. It gives the brain the fortification and support that it needs to change a degenerative trajectory, like neurological issues, into a regenerative one where your brain actually starts to heal and restore itself.
All right. This is fantastic. So we're going to go to the next one. And I know we're starting to run a little bit out of time, but weightless radiance, say a little bit about this.
Yeah, for anybody that's challenged with weight loss, as I was for a long time, very effective. We use it 30 minutes before meals, just place into a glass of water. It's really helping the body to have optimal digestion, to leave and remove what's not needed and to keep what is needed. It's also used for people that are pre-diabetic, on the verge of needing insulin. It will help to keep blood sugar levels balanced.
All right. Next we have white tiger. All right, here we go.
This was huge for me in my healing journey, for getting my body back into a place where I could work out and lift weights and run and swim and do all the things that I was unable to do because of the arthritis I'd had from my injuries. So this really helped to remove the arthritic conditions from my body. It's fabulous. The more arthritic joints you have, the better. It's really designed for polyarthritic joints, which means arthritis that's bouncing around 5 or more joints at a time. And this is life-changing. For me, it restored nerves that I'd damaged, helped with structural restoration, meniscus, tendons, bone, in conjunction with rose gold diamond shilajit. It's a very formidable regenerative support.
All right. And then next, okay, so here we have Relieve Lotion, and I do have the product in my hand. Talk a little bit about this one.
Yeah, Relieve Lotion is actually one of the first products that we ever made. I made it for arthritic conditions. really, I used it all over my body while working out and doing rehab, and it helped me through that process. For anybody dealing with, chronic arthritic pain or pain from some form of injury, this will help more so than any of the other topicals to heal the causal problems. The other topicals that we have that we'll go into are really addressing fast pain relief and inflammation relief, but this is the one that we use for long-term healing protocols to really change the trajectory in a joint or a limb or an area of the body.
I like this one. Next, let's see what we have. We've got Focus Heat Gel right here. Okay, very important. Talk a little bit about this.
This is our most powerful one. This is what I use when I've done too much and I have some sciatica issue pop up, or I need to go and lift heavy weights in the gym and do shoulders. I'll put it on my shoulders beforehand. It's very, very empowering and soothing before or after the effect. It can be enabling to get something done, but it can also be very relieving when you've done a little too much.
Right. And next we have Icy Blue Gel. All right, talk about this one.
Yeah, it works very similar to the Focus Heat Gel, just has a cooling sensation instead. I tend to use this one in the summertime. It's 90, 100 degrees outside. Sometimes I'll put it on the back of my neck just to keep me cool during the day. I don't even have any pain. And so it's also used for people that have lung infections or dealing with any kind of cold or flu. It can be used very much the same as Vicks Vapor Rub, behind the back and on the chest, under the arms. It'll open up the lungs very effectively.
I love the smell of this one. And then next we have the Vibrant Face and Body Lotion. Talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, this is really it's non-comedogenic, it's safe for the face, can be used all over the body. It supports youthful and balanced skin, as it said, but really it's helping to remove inflammation from the body. And so people that have inflammatory skin conditions, this can be very supportive and healing. I use it on my face a couple of times a week, and it's very it smells absolutely delightful. But it's also functional. It's not just for smells and to make you look pretty, but it's actually supporting skin health on multiple levels. It's got a very amazing terpene profile, with things like frankincense and lavender or linalool in there. And so this is the most luxurious of all of our topicals.
Okay. All right. And of course, you've got 20 different product lines on there and a little bit more. I also want to switch gears, and I know one thing before we go into our next commercial break, you have a service, a free consultation that I do want to share with our viewers. Can you say a few words about how you consult with those who are curious about what Jampha has to offer?
Yeah, I mean, I just, I spend time with them trying to understand where their concerns are and where they need support, and then, educate them on the formulas and what we have to offer, and suggest a protocol, usually for 30, 60, or 90 days that is designed to take whatever trajectory of, negative trajectory of healing that someone may be on into a positive one. And it's different for everybody. But our goal is to begin that trajectory and support it, and eventually help you to be able to continue that trajectory with your lifestyle and with your diet and the things that you're doing, rather than the things you have to take forever. It's always been a goal of our company to not have a revolving door, and get people onto that path that they can continue with just a healthy life and healthy diet.
And for our viewers, this QR code, if you grab that real quickly, that will send you directly to the free consultation link, and that will connect you with Trinn. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We will be right back. been talking about the power of plant medicine, Beyond Big Pharma, and our guest today, Trinn Hatch. He is the co-creator of Jampha, a Tibetan pharmacy that really gets to the source of our ailments. And I just got to say real quickly that during the break, I was just smelling, I put on Relieve lotion and I just put a little smidge on my thumb. And just it's a wonderful smell, but I'm like, wow, I'm feeling very embraced by this. So I just want to throw a little impromptu props to that. Trinn, where can we find you in the virtual space?
Yeah, our website is jampha.com. We have, I think we went over about 20 products today, but we have, close to 100 products there. We have Tibetan pill medicines that are also available, as well as Tibetan goji berries. You'll have a lot of fun exploring. There's a lot of wisdom and knowledge that we've jammed into the site from Amchi, and we're continually providing more information and wisdom. It's part of our mission is to educate people so they can make decisions based on their own understanding and wisdom. For consultations.
Yes, your email address for the viewers to get in touch with you. Obviously, we're putting
Trinn at jampha.com. And, I try to respond to emails within a day. I'm usually pretty on top of them. So If you have any questions, feel free to email.
And then our social media, obviously you're in 4 spaces. And so just want to show those handles to our audience real quickly. Obviously the first one, and then let us know how you're moving through each social media platform in case there's a slight differentiation. Yeah,
Jampha Tibetan Wellness is our Facebook page. I think we've got about 7,000 or 8,000 people in that community. Facebook, we just try to keep a presence there, and we have a lot of people that will message us and find us through Facebook. So that's another way that you're able to get in contact with us. If that's easier, feel free to.
Okay, and then of course Instagram. You're on Instagram, and same here. Just noting the spelling for our viewers here, Jampha Tibetan Pharmacy, and then also TikTok. You're on TikTok as well.
Yeah, TikTok as well. We have a lot of fun videos on TikTok. People can learn more about us by watching movies.
Absolutely. And then lastly, obviously you can be found on LinkedIn by doing a search on your name, Trinn Hatch.
Yes.
Okay. Trinn, thank you so much for spending time with us. There's a tremendous amount of I'm delighted to try these products and of course just all for what they have to offer. Thank you so much for spending time with us and speaking to us about what you've learned and all that you're sharing with us.
Yes, thank you very much for having me on the show. It's been a wonderful experience talking with you, and anything I can do to help your audience, just feel free to reach out, and we'll be here to support you on your healing journey.
Absolutely. And we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, those who are supporting our show, Biomed Mobile IV, Dapper Mobile Apps, Launchpad, and Synergize Fitness. You can find us on the web. Our show has a website, thehealthrevolutiontv.com. You can sign up for our newsletter, or you can email us with any show episode ideas that you would love to see us cover. Upper corner of your screen is our QR code. Feel free to grab that. So that's all that happens quickly. And then, of course, on Tuesday and Thursday of each and every single week, you can find us on E360 and in a variety of expanding distribution handles. 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. That's Apple TV, Roku, obviously Amazon Fire, and soon to be on Pluto, Tubi, and so many other different places. We're excited to share our message with you all. That's all the time that we have for today. Until next time, take care of yourselves. We will see you soon.